Now, a lot of people watch our replays. If you're watching our replays, just type in hashtag replay just so I know that you're watching.
Property guru George Markowski from Positive Property Solution joins us now. George, good morning to you.
How are you, George?
You've got to hang out with guys like George who know the numbers. Get the real numbers, the facts. Because I can talk to you about cash flow and all those things. George is better at that than me. The thing I'm ecstatic about George, he is a hardcore teacher. He really wants you to learn.
Okay, guys, we've got 10 seconds left. Can't wait to show you a great, amazing session tonight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, freedom fighters, and welcome to 2023. Now, hello, David. Welcome.
George, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes, so 2023. We've hit 2023. Lots of exciting things happening. One interesting thing is the rental crisis has gotten worse, so which is fascinating. But today we're going to be talking all things finance. We're going to talk about interest rates, what we think the RBA are going to be doing, and what's going to happen this year. I think, it's January. We're back to work now. We're ready to kick some butt, and I think it's time everyone got into gear, started looking at their goals, and started kicking ass. Also, I've got a great announcement that I'm going to be sharing later on. So, and guys, if you've got any questions, if you're watching live, please type in hashtag live. And the people watching the replay, type in hashtag replay. That way I know you're watching, because it's good to know what content's good, what's bad, and what you're enjoying. So, David, what's the state of play for 2023 when it comes to interest rates?
Good question, George. Good question. And I've been having a big think about this one as well. And you and I are back at work, but the Reserve Bank's taking the month off, as they always do in January. So we've got a bit of breathing space. But look, I think the reality is that interest rates are probably likely to rise a little bit in February this year, and potentially maybe one more in March. But a lot of the data is saying that towards the middle to the end of this year, we're going to start to see some flatlining and even some potential rate reductions in the middle part to end of 2023, which is good news for everybody.
Yeah, look, the thing is, and this is what I'm predicting is going to happen, because I've seen this play out over and over again. Because what happens is, we go through a period where interest rates are pushed up, and then invariably what goes up must come down, and what's down must come up. That's just the way it is. So it's never going to always go down, always go up. And people get confused that way. And at the moment, it's on the way up. Sooner or later, it's going to change direction, go down. And what happens is when interest rates go up, a lot of the non-savvy investors, people who don't know what they're doing, what they do is they drop out of the market. And I've noticed that a lot. People saying, we're not doing it anymore. We're not investing. It's not the right time, and blah, blah, blah. Now, Warren Buffett, pretty smart investor, he's worth billions of dollars. He says, when people are selling, what do? Buy. And when people are buying, you sell. Now, with our strategy, we don't sell anyway, we just buy. I think buying is a better way to do it. But when people aren't buying, you should be buying, because there's no wisdom of the crowd. Most of the people out there are sheep that don't know what they're doing. They just look at what everyone else is doing. You don't want to be a lemming jumping off a cliff. What you want to do is forge your own path. So what's happening is the educated investors, the investors know what they're doing. If you want me to answer, is this a good time to buy now? This is the best time. Whenever everyone's telling you not to buy, when everyone else is saying it's not a good time to buy, when you're probably saying it to yourself in your head, you need to flip the switch, and say, okay, now's the time. And when everyone else is saying this is the time to buy, probably not the right time to buy. Right. But I think it's always a good time to buy if you're educated and know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's a bad time to buy. Yeah. So the RBA are having a break, and then with interest rates, you think they're going to go up a little bit maybe, and then when do you think they're going to go down?
I think there's sort of talk around the middle part of the year. So as we've spoken about a few times, George, what happens is obviously the Reserve Bank has their reactions and they increase or decrease rates. And what happens after that is the data starts to flow through 2 or 3 months after each of those rate changes. And so what's happening is we're now only starting to see the implications of these rate rises over the last 6 or 8 months, which is starting to flow into market in the data. So I think it's one of those situations where once all of the rate rises up until Christmas have kicked in, we'll sort of have that information from market around March or April of this year. And I think that's a point in which the Reserve Bank will stop increasing rates. And then, depending on what happens in the economy after that, I'm thinking rates will start to drop towards the middle to end of this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And so I was just curious. I mean, when it comes to mortgage stress, is there much of mortgage stress in the marketplace? Who's getting affected? Where are they getting affected? I know the higher end, they're finding a bit of challenge. And you'll see the higher end of the market has dropped, but the middle end has sort of stayed steady.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the higher end, what we're seeing at the moment, which is interesting, is so many mortgages were fixed in interest rates when COVID hit because the fixed rates were so cheap. We're now seeing is that 2023 is going to be that year where a lot of those fixed rates start to roll off, and so people that were paying 1.99% for 2 or 3 years are going to be paying 4 or 5% when they come off those fixed rates in 2023. So I think we've been somewhat clouded with mortgage stress over the last 12 months, and there might be some issues, across the board. But at the end of the day, as we always say, George, you don't buy property if you know that you can't afford it. So the people that are mortgage stress are the people that probably shouldn't have bought property in the first place.
Totally. And I could see it, it was like a crash waiting to happen when you had all these people in Melbourne and Sydney and actually in all the cities going to auction for owner occupiers and just going nuts and going overboard. Because what was happening is because we had a lack of property, people were missing out. So people just kept putting their budgets up to the point where they stretched themselves way. And this is the deal though, your owner occupier is not an investment. Get that. Remember that. And, repeat after me, everyone watching this. It is not an investment. An owner occupier is a liability. And look, it's great to have. An owner occupier is great to have, like having a nice car or a Porsche or Ferrari is, but it's not there to make you money. It's costing you money. So I did rent vesting for a long time. And at the moment, it actually costs double in Sydney and Melbourne now, 2 times more to own than to rent, which is crazy. And I mean, you know what I did when interest rates were high? That was a while ago now. Before, right, what I did is I actually rented on the beach, and interest rates were high. My landlord subsidised my rent by 150 grand a year. It was costing him 3 grand a week, and I was paying 1 grand a week. He was like, "Thank you very much, living like a king." While he was off working, 60 hours a week in the city and living there in some apartment. And his holiday house, I was renting, having a ball.
Yeah. Love it. Nice. And what's really interesting as well, you're talking about sort of Sydney and Melbourne. I mean, Sydney and Melbourne are where we've seen drops in property value, actually, whereas Adelaide and the Queensland market continued to increase in value. In fact, Adelaide market was actually still positively increased in growth in December of last year. So, we just, in the right areas, in the right markets, you sort of don't have that massive downfall or falling off the cliff like you do in Sydney and Melbourne sometimes.
No. And look, one thing about Australia, which I love, is we just have a small correction, not a big crash like America do in other countries. You look at Spain, Italy, Portugal, a lot of Europe. You look at America, all those places. After GFC, they just crashed right down and lost. Some properties lost 100%. They're worth nothing. And at one stage, you could buy a whole village for like $100 in Spain. Right? They were buying houses for $2 because people couldn't afford to pay the taxes. So that never happened in Australia. And actually, our members and myself, most of our properties stayed where they were or went up because we were buying the top 200. But the funny thing is, I had 1 or 2 properties that I bought before the top 200 concept came around. So I thought of that. And those properties did drop. But what happened was the tenants didn't know it dropped. I didn't ring the banks and tell them. And what happened was people still paid their rent and they'd gone back up again now.
Yeah. And you're right. We're in this massive rental crisis, right? Where you see it in the news every day. There's 100 people queuing up to apply for a rental property at the moment as soon as it hits the market.
Yeah, and you know why? I mean, think about this. I mean, if you're paying double to have a mortgage, you're saving 50% by renting. So a lot of people are motivated to rent now and things like that. So
yeah. 100%. Rent investing is definitely a massive thing at the moment, and a lot of members that come through are trying to adopt that strategy. And it's a fantastic way to not only get in the market, but as you said, have your tenant subsidise your mortgage and continue to live where you want.
Yeah. Now, David, I've got a secret video of you on my computer.
No.
And I wanted to ask the audience. I mean, I've got it here, and I could play it because you haven't seen this yet, David, have you?
No,
you haven't.
Not.
So audience, if you want to see David's video, type in #David, and I'll play it for you. You can see a candid video of David at our event last year. Replay to Facebook user, replying to Facebook user. Okay, live. Okay, I need a vote, guys. David, yep, people are saying David. Okay, guys, watch this. It's a great video. It's only about 2.5 minutes or 1.5 minutes, but it's going to show you a summary of what we get up to when we get together with our circle of safety, with David and also our members and our clients and everything else. We get up to a lot. So here we go. I'll show you this.
This event was really quite life-changing from working with other property developers in the past.
I was at the new rules of Real Estate Summit with George and his team. It was fantastic. There was a lot of great information.
Just great to have someone that has so much wisdom behind him. It's opened my mind over the last 2 days.
I've been investing in properties since I was 19, and every time I come to one of these seminars I learn so much.
There's a bit of strategy behind his process, and if you follow the process then the results are really proven.
I really recommend these seminars. They are just awesome.
Can't wait to do it again.
Hello, we're back. There you go. So someone did #King David. So there you go, David. You're a king.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. So look, that was a lot of fun. We had a ball. It was so much fun. And you know what? Nothing beats getting together live together in a group and that energy and the motivation. And these events are life changing because after these events, some people that are unsure or didn't know what to do, just get that courage to step forward and change their lives completely. And I've seen it happen over and over again. And this year, we're going to be doing it in Bali, which is even better.
Yes.
So it's going to be exciting. And the good part is I've been talking to the team because we're going to be doing estate planning and we're going to be talking about tax and different things. It's actually going to be a tax deduction to come and do this event. And we're also going to be doing some business coaching as well. So if you're a business, so we've sort of added a few things there to help people come along and give more value as well, which is great.
Sounds exciting. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be great. It's going to be good. Yeah. So if anyone's got any questions about finance, please type in the chat. And so what's happening with borrowing capacities at the moment with people? How people are getting around the market tightening and things like that at the the moment?
Yeah, it's a great question, George, and obviously with interest rates rising, we have seen about a 25% drop in borrowing capacities across the board, and that's just a natural thing that was always going to happen. But what we do to get around that to some extent is we look to utilise other banks and lenders that might have a little bit more of a liberal way of approaching serviceability. So certain lenders that accept more levels of rental income than others, negative gearing and tax deductions that make it easier for investors to continue to grow their property portfolio. So they're the sorts of things that we're doing, and that's what we teach as part of our program when the clients come through. And at the summit was a fantastic example of showing your clients exactly what the differences are between every different bank around what you can borrow based on the exact same set of data. So it's all about being strategic to continue to build that property portfolio.
Exactly. And look, a lot of people think, the line to success, the line to getting borrowing capacity in a loan is a straight line, but it's not, because you got to swim that lake, climb that tree, get over that thing. It's not easy. But you know what? At the end of the day, what you need is a team behind you, like your team, David, that are going to pick you up and dust you off when you get rejected or if you don't get what you want, and keep going forward, because you got to keep going. You can't give up. I see so many people giving up at the finish line. They're 1 meter away from the finish line. They just throw in the towel, and it's like crazy. And it's a matter of being persistent. And the thing is, at the moment, borrowing capacity is getting lower. And if interest rates go up again, it'll go even lower. And most people that are going direct to banks have got no idea and aren't going to be able to get a lot of borrowing capacity. Now, the savvy investors, what they do is they go to people like yourself, who's more of a mortgage manager than just a broker. You manage mortgages and you really know what you're doing, and you shop it around, because it's a bit like this. If you remember that game when you're in primary school, not primary school, in preschool, where you got it's half red and half blue, and there's a little star, a little square, a little circle. And the problem is, there's how many lenders out there are there in Australia?
Oh, there's hundreds overall.
There's hundreds of lenders, so there's hundreds of shapes, and then there's millions of different, there's hundreds of different types of customers. So hundreds, not millions, because each type is a category. Like, for example, if you're a police officer, there's certain places that give you a better rate, and if you're self-employed, other places like you. So there's lots of different things that people like or don't like, whether you've got kids or don't have kids, or what suburb you live in, what sort of income range, all that sort of stuff, and what sort of job you've got. So what happens is, most people, they go to a bank, and let's say they're a round peg, and the bank's a square hole, and they're like trying to get in, and they get rejected and going, it's me. But it's not you, it's the bank, right? Now, what's the chance of you walking into the right bank and knowing that it's going to be a round peg? I don't think it's very high. It's going to be low. Right? And it may not even be a bank that's a round peg. The round peg may be a different finance place, and that's the thing. So what you do, which is great, you go, okay, we've got a round peg here. Let's see if we get this round peg and put it in this peg. And then it goes into the round hole, and it's nice and easy. It fits. And then sometimes, they're a triangle, but they need to be a round peg. So we need to sort of shave off a bit of the sides, smooth it over again, and we try to put it in. It's not right there. So we try again. And sooner or later, we get it in. But that's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly right. Sometimes you've got to have, there's always a plan B, and we all like to think that we'll get it done under plan A, but you need to have plan B, C, and D sometimes as well. And we've had situations where clients have been, declined for finance with the first option that we thought was going to work. And then we've gone to a different bank and lender under the exact set of same circumstances, and we've had that deal approved. So exactly right. You've just got to continue to work the solution and make sure that, we've got those different options for clients to make sure they can complete their property purchase and keep building that property portfolio.
Exactly. Now, this is the deal. I've got a special announcement to make while we're here, before we go on, is I'm going to be doing something I've never, ever done in the history of our company. Now, everyone knows that we charge quite good money for our mentorship, for people to come in and learn and how to buy real estate. And the fact of it is, we've had some great successes. We've created hundreds and hundreds of millionaires in Australia. And we've got thousands of people that have gone through the program, and they're super successful and super grateful. And now a lot of people have been sitting on the fence and going, what do we do? What is it all about? How does it work? So I've decided to actually open the doors and give people access to behind the scenes and what we actually do. So I'm going to be launching a 5-day test drive. in a couple of weeks. I think it's next week or the week after. And the 5-day test drive, what's going to happen is we're going to invite you in. It's going to cost you nothing, zero. We're going to invite you in, and we're going to show you what we do, how we do it, and we're going to teach you. I'm going to be teaching you how to invest. And what I've done is I've asked Robert Kiyosaki to give me a bit of a hand, because this is the first of the first. And Robert's going to come in on one day as well and help doing this stuff. So, guys, who's interested in learning from myself, my team, and Robert Kiyosaki for 5 days, doing a 5-day test? If people want a link to it, because I've only got limited numbers, because we're doing a test here to see what it's like. We've only got limited numbers. We're only opening the door for 100 people. And we're going to be prioritizing people that are actually, part of our membership group and things like that. So, guys, if you're interested in actually doing a 5-day test drive and experiencing what it's like to work with me, type in #test drive, and my team will reach out to you and give you a link so you can pre-register when we do the launch in the week or two. So, guys, book me in. Always, George. Hell yeah, that's great. Type in #test drive. My team will reach out to you, and what will happen is, I'll tell you what, this is going to be very exciting. If you want to succeed in real estate this year, if you want to make a change, then this is the thing you need to do. This 5 days that you spend with me, Robert Kiyosaki, and my team, is going to serve you for the rest of your life. And the good thing is, after 5 days, and you might be saying, why are you doing it for free? I'll tell you why I'm doing it for free. I'll tell you my selfish reasons why I'm doing it for free. One is I do want to help 10,000 Australians and people in the world to invest in property successfully and create financial freedom using the Markowski method. So I need to spread the word. Also, if you spend 5 days with me, there'll be a percentage of you that are going to go, George, this is great. I want to join your program. And if you want to, I'll welcome that. But if you get the 5 days and you get your workbooks and get everything else, you get to keep all the information, all the workbooks anyway, and you can do it yourself, or you can come and join our program. Doesn't matter. So, guys, if you want to do it, type in test drive, because we're never doing this again. I'm launching it next week because it's hard to get Robert Kiyosaki involved in this sort of stuff, but it's going to be exciting. So that's what we're doing. Okay, back to you, David.
That sounds awesome, George. Very exciting. And, that was one of the great things that we enjoyed about presenting at the summit as well, was being able to share the strategies and information and the way in which we approach finances. And, more than happy to open that up to people as part of that test drive as well, so they can see exactly what we do and how to maximize their borrowing capacities to buy properties and get in the market.
I love it. I love it. Might have to get you involved in this test drive. Good idea.
Sounds good.
Someone said, what if I'm not ready to start investing yet? Is it still worth it? Look, I really believe that educating yourself and improving yourself is worth it, even if you're not ready to invest. Because what we're going to be doing over this 5 days is basically helping you get a game plan and show you, how much money you've got, how much, we're going to look at how much money you're earning, how much money you've got, how much you've got saved up, how much you need, and what you need to retire on your income, and how long it's going to take. And some of you will be shocked, but then what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we can help you get there quicker. And you get that plan and keep it with yourself. And when you're ready to invest, you've got the plan, because this plan was the only plan you need for the rest of your life. Imagine getting a plan and you never need another overlapping plan, because this is it, mapped out. Because I've done this thousands of times, so I can write these maps out for people really easy. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a special Facebook group, so you get into the group, you ask questions, and we'll be online actually coaching you through it and getting you to the next level. This is the most amazing coaching and information you're ever going to get. There you go. That's my rant. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome, because I really I'm the sort of guy that when January the 1st, I write down all my goals and I want to get there. So I want anyone that's got goals of becoming financially free, I want to help them. My goals are different. I've done my financial goals. My goals are more my fat waist. So what I've done is I went to Tasmania and ate and drank a lot of alcohol, ate a lot of food. So I've just finished a 4-day fasting mimicking diet today. I've lost 4 centimeters off my waist. I'm going to keep going every month until I get to my goal. So I'm really determined. And that's why I want to say it publicly here. So that way, if you see me looking fat, you can fat shame me. I don't mind. I need it. I need a bit of shaming because I love food. I love it.
Certainly no shortages down in Tasmania either, George, with good food and wine and produce.
We
One
had
of the great parts of the world.
Well, we had the Sydney to Hobart race.
Yep.
So all the people, we had the Melbourne to Hobart, Launceston to Hobart, all at the same time. We had the Tasting Australia Festival. We had oysters and lobster and abalone and the food there. I just love seafood. I'm a big fan. And apple ciders, all made in Tasmania. Oh, it was amazing. So it was excellent. Yeah, so it was a great fun. Now, look, guys, we've got 1 minute to go. If you've got any questions, you better ask quickly because in 1 minute time, we're going to be going to our Sherp. What is a Sherp, you may ask? Well, I think getting to financial freedom is a bit like climbing Mount Everest. It's a big mountain. And what we do every Thursday with our members is we call it the Sherp, where we are the Sherpas and we guide you up the mountain of success. There you go. And our guide tonight is going to be David, which is going to be great. I love Tassie, make me hungry. Yeah, make me hungry too. But too bad I've closed my window. So there we go. So guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have that many people join us tonight, which is exciting. Remember, we're going to be here every Thursday night. Same time, same channel, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Someone's currently watching from Hobart. Hi, there you go. I'm building my first home. How can I invest while building? I'm not sure about your particular circumstance, but there is ways of doing it, but you need to talk to someone about it. If you type in hashtag wealth call, one of our team will reach out and let you know how you can do it, if you can do it, because you may not be able to do it. So anything you'd like to add before we say goodbye to everyone, David?
No, look, I'm just excited for 2023. I think that, there was a lot of challenges towards the back end of last year with rates rising and so forth. But I think this year is going to be a really strong year when it comes to property and mortgages and investing, and excited to help as many members as possible to achieve their goals.
Excellent. David, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Love your work. Good to see you. I look forward to seeing you in the Sherp. I'll see you in a minute.
Sounds good. Thanks, George. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.